You're listening to episode 49 of Leaders on Purpose podcast. Hi there, and welcome to Leaders on Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Manal Bernoussi, a multi-passionate lifelong learner based in Casablanca, Morocco. In this podcast, we're looking to develop the skills, habits, and mindset to reveal our full potential for a greater purpose. I'll be inviting inspiring people, beautiful souls, Moroccans, Canadians, Americans, Nigerians, and more. People from all backgrounds and different nationalities to inspire us to live our true purpose and create great impact. So join me every other Sunday and let's make this happen. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Leaders on Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Manal Bernoussi. I hope that you're having a great start of the year, and I'm grateful for you tuning in to this special episode. This is the time of the year where I like to hit pause, reflect on the lessons I've learned, the insights I've gained, and the challenges I've overcome in the last 12 months. Some people focus on New Year's resolutions, but I've been pretty open about why I do not believe in them. Studies have shown that 80% of people do not stick to their New Year's resolutions by February 1st. 80%. So instead of resolutions, what I like to do is set an overall intention for the coming year, like a guiding intention. And what I commit to do is reflecting on the lessons I've learned. Why? Because that is the most valuable part. When we take the time to reflect on our own growth and the lessons we've gained, it really helps us align our lives in a way that benefits us on a deeper level. Because if we pass on our material stuff to our children, but not our wisdom, then we are stripping them of the most valuable part of our legacy. So these are special episodes. These are recaps of 10 to 12 insights that I'm integrating and taking on with me in the upcoming years. And you can go back and check the lessons learned from previous years as well, because they still apply. There are 3 other similar episodes since I launched the podcast. And my hope is that these lessons give you something to reflect on. My hope is that you can add on your own lessons to the mix, encapsulate them, and share them around. So I commit to this exercise every year. I usually do it around my birthday as well. The way I do it is very simple. I go through my photo gallery. Everyone who knows me well knows how much I love taking pictures. I'm that person who will be asking everyone to gather for a group photo. I will take photos of every situation. It's my way of capturing special moments. So I go on my iPhone or MacBook. All phones have these features now where you can select a year and you have all your photos sorted by month. So I go through the photos and I ask myself, what were the most meaningful moments or experiences this year? And why did they matter to me? How did I feel? What challenges did I face? And what did I learn from overcoming or navigating them? Who or what brought me joy, inspiration, or support into my life? And how can I nurture those connections? I ask myself these questions because I want to learn from life experiences. I want to build on them and move forward with intention. And also, it is a great way to document your life. Reflecting on the growth and the changes that have happened to me over time. So when I look back on 2021, which is the year I launched the podcast, the pandemic continued to challenge us globally. That year was about learning to navigate fear, uncertainty, and change with resilience. That year for me was about embracing courage, fostering meaningful connections, and taking action also through the launch of Leaders on Purpose podcast, focusing on what brings me growth and joy and purpose in life instead of focusing on the negativity that was all around. My keyword for that year was definitely resilience. When I look back on 2022, my keyword for that year was purpose. 2022 was a wonderful year. I had just launched a podcast. We moved away from curfews, PCR tests, COVID vaccines, and all that madness. I was reflecting on how to align with my life's purpose, writing it down, revisiting it daily, and working toward integrating it into everything I did. 2022 also marked my 40th birthday, which I celebrated through launching the #40together initiative with dear friends. And it is still ongoing, by the way. Make sure you follow my stories on Instagram for the upcoming edition in March. It is about celebrating our 4th decade in life by committing each year to buying homes for underprivileged orphans who just lost their dad. And so together as a community, we raise money for that. 2022 is also the year I earned my MBA degree and attended transformative events like Tony Robbins or Deepak Chopra. When I look back on 2023, I see a pivotal year for me. Stepping out of the corporate world after nearly 2 decades and creating my own business, taking a huge leap of faith towards aligning with my purpose, building a space for authentic connections and amplifying meaningful conversations. My keyword for 2023 was definitely new beginnings. Now, 2024 was undeniably one of the most challenging years of my life. The passing of my dad was a defining experience, obviously. And also globally, the geopolitical situation was heart-wrenching. And so, as I took time to reflect on the lessons learned this year, I realized they all stemmed from the overall topic of grief. And while I do not want to be defined by it, I do want to honor the reality of how it profoundly impacted me. It is part of my story, and I cherish all parts of my story, the highs and the lows. Grief has a way of offering profound insights and teaching us important lessons. All right, it's time to dive in now. So here are the 12 lessons learned from the last 12 months and the ones I want to take along with me in 2025. Number 1, life is fragile and tomorrow is never promised. This may seem obvious, but truly, some life situations just remind us how true it is. We get caught up in life until someone close is no longer there, and we realize how much we cherish the moments we spent with our loved ones. Or you hear about someone your age who was perfectly healthy and just suddenly got sick and passed away in no time, which reminds us that life is unpredictable. So let's not wait for the wake-up call to appreciate the time we have. How can we bring on more playfulness in our life? How can we cherish the moments we have with those we love? Let us invest in those relationships today. Let us go for that dream and remember that the present is a gift. It is so easy to postpone the important things, like expressing gratitude, saying I love you, or making meaningful memories. But life has a way of reminding us that time waits for no one. Number 2, invest in your spiritual growth. When life gets challenging, you have to have something that anchors you. For me, it's my spiritual faith. But every person has to have something that acts as an anchor, no matter what is happening around, no matter what your beliefs are, no matter what your upbringing was like. Having that deep knowing inside of you that no matter what is going on in your life, it is all okay. It is part of a divine order, a divine plan that you trust and that you are at peace with. You cannot anchor on something that is moving. You cannot anchor on your job, it's going to shift. You cannot anchor on people around you, they're going to come and go. You can certainly not anchor on your level of wealth, that can change in no time. You've got to anchor on something that is stable and solid. And that is a very important part of your well-being. It determines the level of acceptance you have in life. It determines how those situations will affect you. Will they destroy you? Or will they elevate you to the next level of your journey? There's this quote that resonated with me lately, and it goes, "Tell me what you value, and I might believe you, but show me your calendar and your bank statement, and I'll show you what you really value." So, how much time do we really invest in our anchor, in our spiritual growth? Because just like everything in life, if you do not water it, it won't grow. Where focus goes, energy flows. If we do not give our spiritual growth the attention and nurturing it deserves, it will remain stagnant. It will not flourish and deepen. One of my best friends is such an inspiration to me in how she prioritizes her spiritual growth. With grace and purpose, I want to make sure I make more space and time for those connections, because ultimately the strength of your anchor will determine the strength of your journey. All right, moving on to number 3 now. Trust in divine timing. Right after my dad passed away, and being conscious of how much my faith had helped me through it, I wanted to plan a spiritual retreat. Some time away, to focus on what truly matters to me and find some peace and solace in holy places. It had always been something I thought about doing someday, but I hadn't really taken any steps to making it happen. I was thinking more and more like, yeah, I've traveled to all these places in the world, I need to make this happen. I'm sure many can relate to this, but again, it sat on my list of destinations waiting to be checked off. Then one evening, out of nowhere, one of my best friends calls me. He sounded really excited and anxious at the same time. He had this last-minute opportunity for all of us to go together. It was super last minute. We had to make a decision quickly, figure out who would stay with the kids, rearrange work commitments, a lot to juggle in no time. But despite the rush, it all felt right. It felt like a very special opportunity that came at just the right time, especially considering everything I was going through with the grieving and all. Now, long story short, despite how perfect it felt and how excited we were, the luggage was packed, everything was ready, that trip did not happen. There were external factors beyond our control, and the whole thing ended up falling through. It was disappointing, of course, but honestly, that was one of the biggest lessons last year taught me. How to manage disappointment with acceptance. See, sometimes we have to trust that not everything is meant to happen when we think it should. Maybe that promotion isn't ours yet, or that relationship isn't ready to take the next step, or maybe it's not the right timing for us to have kids. Sometimes we just have to trust that the timing will come when it is meant to. Now, I know the waiting room sucks. It is frustrating, it is painful, it is uncomfortable, but know this. Whether you're waiting for that relationship, or waiting to have your first child, or waiting to hear back from a university or an important client, you are not alone. I am right there, sitting with you, in that waiting room. Trust that what's meant for you will come. Trust that it's happening, it's coming towards you with all your heart. Believe it with your core. When the time is right, everything will unfold exactly as it's supposed to in divine timing. All right, number 4 now. Grief and joy can coexist together, and that's okay. This past year has been the most challenging on a personal level with the passing of my dad, yet it has also been the most rewarding professionally. I grew my business, met incredible people, and started hosting events internationally, stepping outside the Moroccan borders. I also earned my first national and international awards for the business I launched. And despite the deep sorrow, I feel profoundly grateful for all of it. And how could I not? It would feel completely inappropriate not to. When I look back at 2024, I see moments of joy despite the sorrow. I see my daughter's face light up as she gets better at playing the piano. I see my son's pride as he nails his first song on the guitar. I see family trips, laughter, and moments spent with friends. I recognize the satisfaction of building my own economy, being my own boss, and bringing value to my country. These are all moments of joy. Grief and joy can coexist together. And over time, grief shows us that it is possible to carry sorrow and still find moments of happiness. It is a reminder that even in our darkest times, joy has a way of sneaking in and reminding us of what still matters. Moving on to lesson number 5. Grief is not linear and healing takes time. I heard this analogy once and it really resonated deeply with me. Grief is like an ocean. Sometimes it's relentless. Sometimes it's calm. Sometimes the waves are huge and crashing, and other times it's completely still and beautiful and peaceful, and you're able to just float. Wherever you're at, whatever your ocean is doing, just feel it. Because one moment it might feel calm, bringing a sense of perspective or peace even. Then there will be a memory or a situation that brings it all back again and the waves come crashing in, and that's okay. Healing takes time. Grief does not go away. You simply become stronger and learn to live with it. It's a companion for life. There's another analogy that I came across and it really resonated with me also. And it's about grief being like a stone. And you carry it in your pocket. You will always notice it. You feel it. You know it's there. But as time goes on, you get stronger. And so as you get stronger, it's not that the stone goes away. It's just that it gets lighter. So it's lighter to carry, but it doesn't mean it's going away. You didn't move on. You don't have to get over it. It does not disappear. It does not get any smaller. It is the same, but you are getting stronger, and so it's lighter to carry. Lesson number 6. Experiencing grief deepens our compassion and ability to empathize with others. Now, for those of you who've been listening to Leaders on Purpose podcast from the early days, you might remember episode 6, where we explored the power of vulnerability. This remains one of my favorite episodes because of its rawness and truth. I spoke about Brené Brown, a renowned researcher on vulnerability and shame. You might know her from her TED Talk or her books, and she also has a Netflix special. And so in her research about vulnerability, she shares that one of the biggest examples is picking up the phone and making the call to someone who had just had a devastating loss. And the phone is there and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna say? You feel the weight of, thinking, what are the words? What can possibly make this any better? So you hesitate, you tell yourself, maybe this is not the right time. Maybe they need some time for themselves. I'll just call later. But later turns into hours, then days. Then life takes over. And before you know it, weeks have passed. Then one day you run into them at an event or something. And in that moment you realize you never made that call. I think we can all relate to this situation. That hesitation, that discomfort is deeply human. But here's what grief has taught me. Those awkward calls matter more than we realize. It is not about saying the perfect thing. In fact, there are no words that can erase the deep sorrow. What matters is simply showing up. Being present, being there, even in silence. It is the act of reaching out that makes the difference. So if you ever feel too vulnerable or unsure about what to say, here's my tip. Do not focus on finding the right words. Just focus on showing up. Send a text that says, I'm here for you. Pick up the phone and say, I'm thinking about you. Drop a small note or even just sit beside them. Your presence, not your words, is what they will remember. All right, number 7. Grief is a deep reflection of love. When someone we love deeply transitions to the other world, it's not just their presence that we miss. It's the countless ways they made life meaningful. It is a bittersweet reminder that the depth of our pain is a direct reflection of the depth of our love. Grief reminds us of the moments that mattered, the shared laughter, the quiet conversations, the unwavering support during tough times, and even the things that annoyed us the most. It's those connections that make life feel full and rich. And what grief has taught me is that love is always worth it. The pain of separation can feel overwhelming, but it is a testament to how deeply we loved and how deeply we have been loved. It pushes us to hold our loved ones a little closer and to make time for the people who matter the most. All right, number 8 now. The power of acceptance and embracing what is. Grief teaches us that some things cannot be changed. Finding peace often lies in accepting what has happened and embracing what is. The unanswered questions, the what ifs and should haves, we can wrestle with them endlessly, but they do not change the reality of what has happened. And while that realization can feel heavy, it also holds a key to something freeing. Peace lies in acceptance. And acceptance isn't about giving up or pretending everything is okay. It's about acknowledging what is. It's allowing ourselves to sit with the discomfort, the sadness, or even the frustration without resistance. When we stop fighting reality, we free ourselves from the exhausting cycle of trying to rewrite a past we cannot control. And this applies not only to grief, but also to everyday life. In our personal lives, acceptance can be as simple yet challenging as recognizing that someone we love sees the world differently than we do. In business life, acceptance plays a critical role also. It allows us to pivot when needed, to see opportunities within constraints. It shifts our mindset, and instead of pouring our energy into resisting what we cannot control, we redirect it towards what we can, our response, our attitude, and our actions. Imagine being stuck in traffic, for example. You can honk, you can yell, or stress about being late, or you can accept that you're in traffic and use the time to call a friend, to listen to a Leaders on Purpose podcast, or reflect on your day. The situation does not change, but your experience definitely does. Lesson number 9, finding gratitude in difficult times. Even in the hardest moments, there's always something to be grateful for. Unexpected strength, deeper relationships, or lessons learned that can shape us for the better. This past year has been incredibly challenging for many of us. Witnessing what's happening in Palestine and Lebanon, what's happening in Sudan, and feeling helpless about it, the tragedies and heartbreak are undeniable, but amidst the pain, there has been a shift. Reality on the ground is gaining more visibility, and global perceptions are evolving. Public opinion has grown more supportive, and conversations about recognition and justice are louder than ever. While the loss of lives is devastating, the growing awareness and solidarity offer a glimmer of hope. Even in the darkest moments, there's light to be found. This year, despite the sadness, this trial has deepened my connection with my family. My bond with my brother and my mother has grown stronger because we went through it all together, and for that, I am truly thankful. Gratitude does not eliminate the sorrow, nor is it about pretending everything is fine. It's not about toxic positivity. Instead, it gives us the strength to recognize the growth that can exist alongside the sorrow, the hope that can exist alongside the sorrow. It reminds us that resilience and connection are what help us move forward. Number 10, love transcends physical presence. I felt that so deeply and so vividly this year. Even after someone has passed, the bond we share with them remains alive in our hearts and our memories. I had a moment the other day with my daughter that truly touched me. She often joins me for my workouts when my coach is around, and after some reps, we were lying on the mats, both looking up at the sky, and out of nowhere she said, "Mom, I see the moon." So I looked up at the moon and I agreed, and then she pointed to the brightest star in the sky and said, "You know, every time I see that star, it reminds me of my grandfather. He told me, whenever you're not with me and you miss me, just look at that star and know that I'm thinking of you too." It touched my heart so much and reminded me how much our words matter and how much some simple actions can have a lasting impact. So, in the face of separation, love does not fade. It transforms. It evolves from something tangible to something eternal, living on in the memories we cherish and the values they passed on to us. Number 11 now. Show yourself some extra love and self-care. Grief, stress, or even everyday demands can take a toll on us, emotionally, mentally and physically, that remind us just how important it is to take care of ourselves, to be patient with ourselves, and to show ourselves some self-compassion. I've had to remind myself of this more than once. You guys know how passionate I am about my work, and I feel deeply committed to my mission and to this podcast. And this year, I found myself feeling guilty for not showing up as much as I promised. And that weighed on me. Although we published amazing episodes and launched the YouTube channel and connected on the deeper level, I was feeling guilty because I very much care. And so I had to remind myself it is okay to take care of yourself before you can truly show up for others. It is okay to give yourself the time to process, to heal, and to recharge. It is okay to stay authentic to yourself, because I never want to show up here and not feel aligned or feel pressured. Every time I sit behind this mic is because I genuinely care about sharing something meaningful with you. So, self-care isn't just about rest. It's about understanding that we are allowed to take a break, to step back, to heal without feeling guilty. Whether you're a parent juggling work and family, a leader balancing responsibilities, or a friend supporting your loved ones, we all need to allow ourselves moments of rest. Our well-being is the foundation upon which everything else stands. And when we nurture ourselves, we show up stronger for others. All right, time now for the last lesson I'm keeping from 2024. And that is that nothing, and I mean nothing, beats the feeling of freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of movement, financial independence, the freedom to think, to choose, and to do what truly makes you happy, freedom to live in alignment with your core values. Nothing compares to the feeling of liberation, taking back control over your happiness and making decisions that reflect who you truly are. Here's the thing. If you feel misaligned with your life, if your job is taking a toll on your mental peace, or if you find yourself stuck in a situation that leaves you deeply unhappy, do something about it. Life is too short to settle. You have options, wonderful options, in fact. You do not have to stay in a place that does not bring you joy or fulfillment. Let go of what drains you. Take the steps to align your actions with your heart. You are worthy of a life that feels true to who you are, and there's a world full of possibilities ahead of you. I am so incredibly grateful today for my freedom. I would have never, ever been able to spend that much time with my dad in his final months had I not chosen to reclaim my freedom. I am grateful for the ability to create, to choose, and to live life with purpose on my own terms. And I believe that same freedom is something we all deserve. So that's what I've got for you for today's episode. Apologies if it felt too heavy for you. I want to keep it real and authentic here. I believe we connect deeply also through, the highs and lows. I do hope these lessons give you something to reflect on and think about. I hope this inspires you to go look through your own photos and think about your learnings from the past 12 months. I'll share a list of reflection questions with you in the show notes of this episode to make it easier for you. I'd love to hear about the lessons you have learned in 2024, so feel free to slide to my DMs and share them with me or tag me in your posts and stories. I'd love to respond and reshare them as well. Let us reflect on this as brothers and sisters on the path and benefit from each other's experiences. Now, before I wrap up, I've got one favor to ask. If this episode has brought you any value, please take a moment to share it with a friend or colleague. I spend a lot of time here soul digging, reflecting, and thinking to share the best possible content, and I cannot do that without your help. With the way the algorithms work, the more comments, the more reviews and shares we get, the more people will hear about this content. So if you can, take a moment right now to leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast or YouTube and spread the love. I am genuinely grateful for you. We've got some exciting things in store, amazing guests, and more incredible content coming your way. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next episode. That is it. Thank you so much for spending your most precious asset with me, which is your time. I am so grateful. If you like what you hear, please take a quick second to hit subscribe, write a review, and share with a friend. Spread the love. If you think it's something they could benefit from, that will make a huge difference to keep this podcast going. I make it my mission to bring you as much valuable content as possible and absolutely incredible guests. I am back every other Sunday. Thank you so much again for listening, and I hope you have an amazing day.